What's up, guys? Welcome to the Put Me In Coach podcast,
where we go beyond the headlines and deep dive everything NFL.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Andy.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
So I was thinking about this with the Rams. Matt Stafford just finalized a new deal, $44 million a year, very team-friendly. And Sean McVay, the head coach, smart guy, says, hey, I think I'd like to keep him around for a while. So he's 37 years old. And the Rams have 2 first-round picks next year. And my take is, take the best offensive tackle and the best corner. Why do you have to take a quarterback? You think that guy's going to come in and be better than Matt Stafford in the next 2 to 3 years?
Empty shotgun look. Stafford has it. Again, a 4-man rush for Bucky. Deep drop, big throw, down the right side. Cooper Kupp's all alone. He caught it at the 30, to the 20, cuts inside. 10, 5, touchdown Cooper Kupp. Touchdown, LA!
Okay, welcome back. Put Me In
What's up?
Coach. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
That is a disgusting act.
Shout out Joe Buck for the disgusting act quote. It's just too good.
So good.
So
What was that in reference to?
Randy Moss mooning the Green Bay Packers
that's
fan
right,
after
that's
the touchdown, which was so awesome, by the way. That was such a
Certainly.
funny moment. I was watching that game live as a
Lighten up.
kid, and I remember cracking up. And then he was just
Lighten up.
mad in the booth. Yeah, I think he has lightened up a bit
Oh,
over
he
the
has.
years.
It's like, come on, dude. That's
Takes
funny.
himself too seriously, I think.
Of course.
If you ever get the chance, he had an appearance on some like HBO comedy show like 20 years ago. It was one of those, like, I forgot what comedian it was, but it was so funny. It literally like ruined his career for a while because he got roasted so bad on it.
Here's a guy who's not on his guard.
No, he's much more entertaining on those.
There's no guard there.
Joe, TMZ is your favorite website? I thought, what's your second? Suckingcock.com?
Give it up! Give it up! Yeah!
I'm on TMZ constantly. Did you see what Angelina was wearing today? What the fuck? How about going to a sports website, for Christ's sake?
I'm gonna drop a link to that and the things people can.
Please.
I forgot.
I'd like to check this out.
I think was it Andrew Dice Clay? I can't remember, but it was one of those like old 2000s like HBO
For sure.
like round table couch things.
Yep.
It was just so funny, man. He got like absolutely
I love
spanked on that.
I love it.
God, what comedian was it? That's gonna piss me off. It doesn't matter. I'll put it in post. This episode is not about Joe Buck though. It is about the Los Angeles Rams and our boy Matt Stafford. I think you and I both have some ideas about this football team and about this quarterback this year. And they might be controversial ideas. Matt Stafford just signed a 2-year extension. The Rams gave him somewhere between 46 and 47, 44 million. A little unclear depending on what source you see how much it is, but it's a lot. And it's just for a couple years. He's 37 years old. This team made a playoff run again last year. I have some thoughts on kind of what that playoff run was and what that season was, but I think I want to start with kind of the thesis of what we're getting at today, which is this might be Matt Stafford Rams Inc., the Matt Stafford Rams rendition of the Rams. This might be their last chance to win a Super Bowl. And
Song.
yeah, and I think they've got as good a chance as anybody does. We'll talk about why kind of as the video unfolds, but are you with me so far on that take that this could be really the best time?
I really like some of the pieces on this team. I mean, obviously, we love their coaching. That's always been elite. I mean, their D line is disgusting. Linebackers are good. The front seven's good. What really the cornerbacks are not very good. But what really worries me about this team when it comes to making like a true Super Bowl push, I don't love that O-line. I really don't. Your left
Problem
tackle's
last
dealing
year
with
too.
Yeah, your left tackle's dealing with some blood clots. That's not good. Stafford's 38, and if you look at the history of kind of Matthew Stafford, it's almost like every 3 years he gets like a season-ending injury. And this would be, I think 22 is the last time it happened. So 25, you're looking at, I don't obviously do not wish that on him, but it just, for whatever reason, it seems like every couple of years, every 3 years, he's got some sort of like serious injury that he deals with. They had a long season last year. They've had 2 kind of seasons back to back where they're coming into the playoffs super hot, and they have heartbreaking losses. Obviously, the one in Detroit 2 years ago, and then you had the one in Philly last year where they had the game won basically, and it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And I think everybody looks at the signing of Davante Adams and thinking, okay, that's great. Obviously Puka Nacua another year, Kyron another year. I mean, they have some really, really, really good pieces, particularly, again, like I said, on that defensive line. Jared Verse is I think as good of a prospect of a player as we've ever seen. I know when coming out on the edge, and I really like Braden Fisk too. I think both of those guys are really impressive. I just really don't love the O-line. And I think when you have iffy tackles and a 38-year-old quarterback who is a tough son of a bitch, but can and has shown to get hurt when beat up too much, that really, really, really worries me. It really worries me. So it's hard. I don't know what to make of them. I think if you told me at the end of the year they won the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be super shocked. And if I think you told me, hey, they barely missed the playoffs, I also wouldn't be super shocked. But if you told me, they lost in the second round because it just wasn't enough, yeah, no, that's kind of,
Yeah.
I think what my gut's telling me.
Yeah, it's an interesting take because I think what's fascinating about your hypothesis, and what could be ultimately heartbreaking for Rams fans if you're right about that, which, I think at 37 with an injury history, and you mentioned some concerns on the O-line in terms of health, it's on the table. And we don't like to talk about these things because it's bad juju to kind of be like, I think so-and-so is going to get hurt. It makes us feel icky, right? We watch the game for these players, and it's shitty to be like, oh, I think this guy's going to, pop an Achilles this year maybe, but no disrespect to Christian McCaffrey. It does happen. What's fascinating about what you're talking about is the problem with the injuries in terms of Los Angeles the last couple of seasons has actually been the supporting cast. Last year, this team struggled mightily both seasons have been first half, second half seasons for the LA Rams. In 23, they were awful in the first half. They got hot in the second. Same story last year. The problem has been Puka Nacua injuries. The problem has been offensive line injuries, and the problem has been Cooper Kupp injuries. A big reason why I love bringing in Davante Adams is because you get rid of Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp has struggled to separate the last couple of years. I think he's been completely unreliable as not only a target, but just in terms of a health asset availability. I know he is like a massive fan favorite in LA, and so people don't like to talk negatively about him, but I think you got a massive upgrade.
So. I mean,
deservedly so. I mean, no, he had an amazing run with the Rams. I'm not
Super Bowl
knocking
MVP.
I think the last few seasons we've been chasing the dragon on the Triple Crown year, and I think that following year he got hurt. In 22 he got hurt. In 23 he got hurt. In 24 he got hurt, and he's just been wildly inconsistent. He's lost a lot of explosiveness. And you have Puka Nacua there, who has also been banged up. The way he plays, he's already talked about retiring early. He's very much the George Kittle of wide receivers in terms of his play style. So I think, to me, the concern I've had with this football team has been surrounding injuries. So it would be a brutal twist of irony if Matt Stafford got hurt this year, and the reason was Matt Stafford. I think ultimately what makes this team such a rock-solid Super Bowl bet is what you mentioned with the defense. It's not just Jared Verse, who came out of nowhere and exploded as one of the best edges in football, it seems like right now, but it's Fisk, as you mentioned. It's Kobe Turner on that line. That whole front seven is disgusting.
The line is really good.
Yeah. I mean, it's the whole kind of game. we didn't even discuss Byron Young, who's been really good. So I think with the coaching and with the added talent offensively with Davante Adams, to me, this just seems like a team that if Stafford can stay healthy, should be at least knocking on the door, because anything that could go wrong last year kind of did, minus the Stafford injury, and they were still playing. They were in the link playing. They were a couple Kyron Williams fumbles away from winning that game. And I know Philly fans don't want to hear that, but that team played some truth. That team played some
and
really
I think
good
they would have.
football.
I think they would have gone on and won the Super Bowl fairly easily.
Me too, but we've seen, like you mentioned in 23, they went up against just a better hotter Detroit Lions team. They were on the road. Like we just haven't seen it come together the last couple of years. But for me, this is the reason why I say it's the Stafford swan song, is because of the injury history, the age, the short-term deal, and just what's around. Can it come together from 1 year? And I think yes. But if it
let me put some not to cut you off, but let me put a little validity behind my statement too. So since turning 30, Stafford 2017 plays 16 games, 2018 plays 16 games, 2019 only plays 8. 2020 plays 16 games, 2021 obviously plays 17 games, wins the Super Bowl. 2022 only plays 9. 2023 plays 15 games, 2024 plays 16 games. So since he's turned 30, every 3 years he misses half the season. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen. That is just a pattern that I've noticed.
No, I mean, it's like we discussed with Green Bay with Josh Jacobs, right? Like he has he's had a couple big pinnacle years, and then the following year he drops off. It's like almost cyclical with him. Some players are like that. McCaffrey's kind of like that, where he has a big pinnacle year, and then the next year it's like a really bad injury, and you're like, damn it, like I should have drafted him on my fantasy team last year. Yeah, I guess my question for you is like, if you're wrong this year, where do they rank for you in terms of Super Bowl favorites? Would they be one? Top five. Yeah,
they'd have to be.
Same.
They'd have to be. You have a. In my opinion, I think you have a top 5 quarterback. I would say Stafford is the 5th guy. I know. There's a lot of talk about whether it's Goff or Jalen Hurts or Matthew Stafford. I think Stafford has done enough to prove that it is him. He's dragged worse teams further. I think Davante Adams is still as good as they come. I know a lot of people think it's not the case because he's been in Vegas the last couple of years and then was with the Jets, for the second half of last year. Davante Adams is still very much him. Puka Nacua is kind of a baby Davante Adams. They have a very similar game in that way. I think Kyron is completely underrated as a running back. I really like Kyron. And I'm not even convinced that Blake Corum sucks. We haven't really gotten a chance to see it, but if we got a chance to see it, I think Blake Corum would be good.
Yeah. And they drafted Jarquez Hunter, who kind of brings that explosiveness out of the backfield that they've been lacking from the other two guys, kind of, as good as they are.
That's a really good point. I mean, again, it really just comes down to I don't like their O-line. I like everything else. I don't like their O-line. I don't, I think McVay gets enough credit. He gets enough leeway to where I'm not going to doubt the O-line per se. I'm gonna but you can't predict signing a 3-year contract and then the guy has blood clots. That's not on McVay. You know what I mean? Like that's something you can't predict. I can look at the secondary and go, okay, this staff is going to figure it out because I trust McVay and the brain trust there. I know the secondary doesn't stand out to anybody, but they'll probably figure it out because they always do. But man, I mean, losing your left tackle, and maybe he plays, maybe he's cleared, maybe he's fine. That's just something that's looming going into the season, and I go, I don't love that because that's your blind side. Left tackle is so important.
Yeah, and I don't love it either for the same reason because, like I said, it was a massive problem with. You mentioned Kyron Williams, like his efficiency was a problem last year for a lot of the season. And then both your wide receivers got hurt, and it's just sort of like we got to have this glue up front. Stay this glue because this quarterback is really he's dancing with father time now, and he's dancing with an injury history that you mentioned. He's dancing with a cycle that seems to be, like you mentioned, like a trimester type of thing where it's like he's good, injury. So yeah, man. I mean, obviously, if he gets injured in a serious way, God forbid, this team's out of it. And I'm out here in LA, so I used to kind of hate the Rams because I was a Lions fan and they like won the trade, and I was like, screw these guys.
Jimmy G, your boy Jimmy G will step up.
Yeah, you live in a city. You start vibing with the home team, and it's so I do vibe with the Rams. I've worked over there, kind of in their facilities. I've met a lot of their guys, so I think it's a team that I view as like really, really elite, and I want to see elite teams do elite things. Now, I want my Lions to beat them if it comes down to it, of course. But they're a team that I would be really disappointed in if Stafford got hurt this year and they just had to roll with like.
No, they're a team I still feel comfortable taking as my division choice. Like, I think they will win that division. Again, I'm not predicting or hoping that Stafford will get hurt because I don't want to see that. It's just something to note. It's just something to look at and put in your back pocket and go, okay.
Yeah.
This could be on the table.
Yeah, and I think even if it isn't, I think what you're saying, and where I do agree with you, is I think that this year is probably, when I look at the NFC, when I look at this roster, this coaching staff, this quarterback, the addition of Davante Adams, it's so win now, and your defense is like, it's ascending, it's young, it's hungry, they can play the difference. It's always been like holding your breath on a cup injury, holding your breath on the offense, except for the Super Bowl year. And that's the interesting thing, because now that defense, in my opinion, I'm not to get out of control because it doesn't have Von Miller and Jalen Ramsey, but I think it's just defense is as good as that Super Bowl defense was that year. So it's just tough because
it's not a crazy take.
This is kind of the year, or I'm maybe out on picking this team in the future to be like the Super Bowl, because after this, it's like you're really dancing with time now.
Yeah, I think you also have to be aware of who the GM is too, right? It's like if they're cooking at the trade deadline, they're gonna go out there and they're gonna go big game hunting. They always do. A couple of expiring contracts, couple of guys who are really good on some teams that are floundering. Those boys are coming to Los Angeles. Think Odell Beckham, think Eric Weddle, think Von Miller, think these guys who are kind of like not producing really, but like have the talent.
They were Jair candidates to me.
You said what?
They were Jair candidates to me. I was a little bit surprised. I mean, Baltimore was too.
That's
it made sense.
That's a great example, right? That's a great example.
Yeah, but
that's exactly who they go and get.
That kind of piece, and then you just wonder. I mean, and again, I think what we're saying is kind of the same thing. It's just
Bobby Wagner was another one that year. They went and got. And he was just,
Yeah, and I think they moved off of Kupp at the right time. It might even have been a year too late, in my opinion. Like, I really don't think that Cooper Kupp was a reliable, and I think subbing that out with Davante Adams cannot be overstated. I think people are like, and again, this is just a side note of like football evaluations. It feels to me like people are just going, well, they lost Cooper Kupp, but they put Davante Adams there, so that's fine. It's like, that's an upgrade to me in a pretty significant way at this point in their careers.
Huge upgrade. I mean, Davante Adams is still, an A tier. He's not S tier anymore, but he's definitely an A tier wide receiver.
Completely agree. He's probably the best two in football right now on the depth chart. Yeah,
easily,
because he is the two there.
And I'm not even sure he's a two. That's what I mean. Like I mean, like he technically probably is. He probably is a two, but man, it's so hard to call Davante Adams a two. He's still so good.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't been able to rely on Cooper Kupp.
Had nobody throwing him the ball. He's a Derek Carr, and then Gardner Minshew, right? You know what I mean? This dude got Stafford throwing him the ball again.
Well, and I also trust it. I mean, again, we talk about it with Kupp, but like availability is the best ability. He has been receiving hospital ball galore with Derek Carr and Jimmy G, and then Aaron Rodgers less so, but he was beating hospital ball. Aiden O'Connell, hospital ball aficionado, and I think he stayed injury free relatively throughout that process. He faked the injury last year. That was fake.
Definitely fake.
But he wasn't
Not
injured, right?
not
That was a
bad
fake
at all.
injury. I think we both
That was a
agree.
fake
Like he faked it. It's okay. It's fine. I get it. But I think if he can stay healthy this year and these pieces can stay healthy, it's a Super Bowl or bust team. They're on a short list. Philly, Detroit, Kansas City. There's a few teams we look at that way. I think it's them this year. Baltimore.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, we hope Stafford stays healthy because it does feel like we're running out of time for this last final hurrah for this Rams team with him.
100%.
All right, man. Sweet. Talk to you later.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace.